The things that I learned about failing at becoming a real estate agent. There's a couple things that I learned that I just wanted to share with you guys. I only did it for 6 months, but I learned a lot that I needed to become, not just for being a real estate agent, but for anything in life. And the fourth thing that I'm going to teach you is the stuff that changed my life forever. The first shock was that, I knew being a real estate agent was going to be difficult, right? No one said it's going to be easy. Everyone says that you're going to fail. Like, what is it? 80% of people fail within the first year. Only a couple of them succeed. So I already knew that was coming, and I didn't want to be that statistic. So I was like, I'm going to work as hard as possible. So going into it, the first thing I realized was, like, you have to do open houses. I got myself onto a team, a great team, and had access to already a bunch of $1 million plus properties. So it was like fantastic, awesome. I got to show the properties. I got to do open houses for them every single Sunday. I got to work the leads that I was given through the open houses, which was awesome. But what would happen, right, as you work those leads, right, you have great conversations, you have not so great conversations, you follow up with them, and nothing happens as a result. That's part of the process, right? And that's the first thing you realize. You realize that a lot of these moments are quiet moments, and you have to find the ways to make it as valuable as possible to get everything you can out of those moments, or they could be a waste of your time. And I didn't want that to happen to me, and I knew that it was happening. So the first thing I learned was I need to understand these moments are part of the process, and you need to find ways to be able to get through them. And I'd start journaling, and I'd start writing down the things I was thinking, the things I was feeling, because you're going to go through a lot of low moments, right? There's going to be times where you're going to want to quit. I wanted to quit almost every day, almost every week. I wanted to quit, but I had gotten this far, and I wasn't going to get this far to simply get that far. So I kept pushing through. The next thing you realize is like, I thought I was leaving this because I want to be in control of my own schedule, right? I want to set the time when I want to see a listing and to show people homes, and I get to have a work-life balance and all these great things. That's all bullshit. You're going to work more hours than you ever worked in your entire life, and you're not trading your 9-to-5 boss to have be your own boss and get all these amazing life and things like that. No. That's not what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? You're going to be working for Jennifer, who's a nurse, who can only see houses at 8 p.m. on Thursdays, and you're going to have to show her 6 homes in that time frame from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. because there's no other time that she's going to be able to see those homes, and you just need to simply make it work. And that's annoying because I was doing this while I was also being part-time. And that's where it becomes difficult. Trying to be a real estate agent and trying to do it part-time, very hard thing to do, because you need to be available for these people because you don't know, you're working with their schedule, not your own. You're not there yet. It's not like you have a book of clients where you can just set things and they'll wait for you in order to see these homes, right? Especially if the market is in a good place or a bad place. People want to see the homes when they want to see them, and that's important. Creating a frame is basically designing the lens in which someone is going to view a specific scenario, okay? What does that basically look like? You'd basically find yourself in scenarios where I would get hit with a hard question. Maybe a question I don't know the answer to, and the frame is, you don't say, I don't know. You say, I don't know, they lose trust, right? When you're in this industry, when you're in real estate, it's all about building trust. At the end of the day, no one wants to be the first person that you're working with to sell their home, to rent their home, right? Or even if the person is looking to purchase a home, they don't want to be working with someone at the end of the day who is a rookie, who doesn't know what they're doing. And you can't look like a rookie, so you must maintain your frame. Your frame that you are a professional, right? A frame that you are experienced, or that you know the answers and that you can genuinely help them. In those scenarios, right, I had to make sure that I had to reframe the scenario. It's not, I don't know. It's, hey, that's a really great question. Let me ask the building. No one's ever asked that before. Or, hey, I can double check that for you. Give me one moment. And you go and you find the answer. You bring it back to them. You do that enough times, moving forward, you won't need to go to different places, right? Like, one thing that I would happen is, in the beginning, as much as I knew about like my area, like where I grew up, I didn't know every single building. I never even went into those buildings. But you go into one, you learn about it, you understand the history, you research about it. Then when you go into the next building, you get to find those similarities. You begin to understand the neighborhood, and the more you see, the more you know. And until then, you make sure that you frame it, that you're learning along with them, and you maintain that you are the person that can get that knowledge. Even if you don't have the answer, you know how to get the answer. And that is still valuable. And that's what I still take that through to everything that I do now. Now you want to maintain your honesty, but you also want to keep your integrity. So make sure that you frame something in the right way is imperative, and I still do that today. Because it's about establishing trust, and you don't want to lose that trust by coming off as someone that doesn't know the answers. You don't want to lose that trust as coming off as someone who's new, someone who they can't go to for help. Another thing that I learned was about the environment. You see, the thing was, I live in New York, and I was doing it in the suburbs in a fantastic community, one of the richest communities in Queens. and I was on a great team. Loved that team. The thing was, I couldn't connect with the team. All right, and that was something that I remember looking back on, and that's something that actually changed my life. Like where you work and the environment that you're working in is super important. You see, while my team was one thing, at the end of the day, you're not just working with your team. You're working with all the people in Queens, all the people in New York, because you guys are all freelance, right? So you guys all, if you help me, I'm gonna help you, and it's this collaborative relationship, right? But the thing was, I couldn't connect with people. I was like the youngest kid, like 20 years old, doing this. Everybody was older than me. Everybody was a mom. Everybody had kids. Everybody had husbands. See, I was working part-time and struggling and working multiple jobs. And the reality was a lot of the people, like other agents that I would have to contact and work with and set things up, they all had their own thing. They were taking their kids to school. You know, they had husbands who were taking care of them. They didn't really have to do the job the same way I needed to do the job. And I knew like I wasn't going to be able to just, hang out with them after, the job and grab a beer and build connections with these people. That's not what it was. It became super lonely. It was a lonely thing to do. And I realized, and I thought, in 10 years, is this going to be the type of people that I want to be around? Are these people that I'm going to be able to connect to? And the answer was no. The answer was no. I wasn't going to be able to connect with these people. I didn't want to connect with these people. They were in a different place in their life than I was. And that was what ultimately led me to leave and to find a place where I can be part of a community that had similar values to me, a community that I could be proud to be a part of and I could establish myself with, that in 10 years time or however long I'm with them, it's part of me and I can build relationships with these people that go deep, not just work, but personal. And I knew that I was going to be able to get that being an agent, and that's one of the reasons why I left, and that's the biggest reason why I left, because I was like, it's too lonely of a road, and I don't think I was going to be getting back what I wanted to get out of it. That has impacted me so much. That simple understanding, if you want to make sure that you join a community that you can be proud to be a part of, that you can establish yourself in a community that you can actually build a connection to and grow with and be a part of, is so important, because it's what keeps you in the game. Because when you're feeling low, when you're feeling alone, you only have so much willpower that you're operating off, and no matter how strong you are, that willpower will go to empty. Anyway, those are the things that I learned trying to become a real estate agent. I have been taking forever to make this video, and I want to stop procrastinating, so it's a little all over the place, but I hope you guys enjoyed the watch. I'll catch you next time. Hopefully the next one won't take so long to come out.